What up, high rollers? Today we're going into a review or a guide of the Blood Death Knight. Everything you need to know before Legion, before Artifact, before everything. Let's get into it. Alright, start this off, fellas. We're just going to start going into this. Start talking about the Blood Death Knight, just a whole overview. One biggest noticeable thing is they do not have shields. They're not going to be able to block, so they're highly are very good at self-healing. They're one of the best self-healing tanks in the game. In some of the beta launch and beta testing, they were beating out healers and healing. That's due to bone shield absorbs and stuff, but we won't go into that. They rely mainly on dodging and parrying. Big self-heal class. Their runes, there's no longer frost, unholy, or death runes. They're all one rune, and you use them. Your main heal is Death Strike, and we'll go into all of that later. Some of the most significant changes, if you see me glance over here, I have a notepad up with some notes. So your presences have been removed, so there's no more blood presence, frost presence, unholy presence. You can get into a little bit of it with your talents, but we'll go into that also later. Let's get into this. So first of all, my build. So it's going to be blood. So let's just go over your essential moves right now. So Heart Strike, a melee attack that hits the target, 2 targets, and generates runic power. This is your main builder. Also is a good bit of AoE. This is your main attack. So this is your melee attack that causes, and it also, Bone Shield used to be a move that you applied. Now Marrow Rend actually applies the Bone Shield, and it increases your rune regeneration rate. Blood Boil, after a very recent nerf, is an area attack cooldown, and it applies your disease to the target. Death Strike is a melee attack that spends runic power and heals you for all the portion of all the damage taken. This is your main heal. Death and Decay is what you're going to apply to the ground, and due to some talents we can get rune regeneration and stuff up. Death Grip is one of the most iconic things to the Death Knight. Instead of charging the enemy like a warrior, you can actually pull them to you. Alright, so the build. This is my build. This is what I've seen a lot of the top-end Blood Death Knights taken. So we'll go over all these, and then I'll explain to you why I've picked this one. Blood Worms. Basically, your crits are going to summon these worms. They're going to do damage to the target and heal you. Too much RNG. It's okay, but it's not the one that we're going to pick. Heart Strike. Generates 3 additional runic power per hit. This is so strong because your runic power, your haste is your #1 stacker, which we'll get into, but because of this, you want to be able to spend runic power non-stop. This way you can keep self-healing and self-mitigating. Blood Drinker, I've never seen anybody have it, but it's basically just a channel, and it's kind of like the siphon that warlocks have, where you're doing damage to the target, but you're also receiving health. Rapid Decomp. While standing in your Death and Decay, you're going to regenerate more rune power, and it's also going to do more damage. Soul Forge. Consume your Blood Plague within 30 yards, dealing 8. This is good, but it's not the best. This is one of the talents, Spectral Deflection. This is the one that in early progression I chose because I was getting hit really hard. And when you get hit really hard, it should only take 1 piece of your bone shield, but if you take this, it's actually going to take 2. So it's going to mitigate those big, huge hits off the bosses a lot better. Ossuary. While you have 5 bone shield charges, your Death Strike reduce runic power. This is what we're going to, so you want to be able to spend that runic power as much as you can. Blood Tap is basically, it's going to generate a rune. So it's an on-demand rune regeneration with a 1-minute recharge. With a 1-minute recharge, but you have 2 runes or 2 charges. So the other one on this is the Anti-Magic Barrier. It's just going to increase your health when you have one of your defensive cooldowns, which is your Anti-Magic Shell. Good, but not the best choice in this section. For your level 60 talents, you have Mark of Blood, Red Thirst, Tombstone. I told you that there's no more presences, but you can get these little things right here where it's kind of like, you know, as you are in your presence, but it's not the same thing. Places of Mark of Blood, this is kind of like the Monk's Mark of Death. Just it's not worth it. Tombstone is kind of good, but Red Thirst is going to be your choice here. Spending runic power will decrease the remaining cooldown of your vampiric blood by 1 second per 6 runic power. This is your way to go here. Titaning's Grasp, Tremble Before Me, March of the Damned. Titaning's Grasp is by far the best one here. It reduces the cooldown of your Gore Fiend's Grasp. This is your AoE grip. And in your Death and Decay, which is really good for Mythic Plus because it gives you the ability to kite. Any enemy in your Death and Decay's movement speed is decreased by 70%. Will of the Necropolis, it's not as strong as the other two. Foul Bulwark is the one you're going to take, increasing your HP due to the amount of bone shield charges that you have. Rune Tap is also another good one. It used to be an ability that we had, but pre-patch they made it a talent now. If you're encountering some fights where you want to take Spectral and Rune Tap, you can take it because you'll be able to on-demand smooth out that damage. But Foul Bulwark right now is the one that we're going to go with. Bone Storm, these three are easily summed up as Bone Storm's AoE, Blood Mirror, single target, Purgatory is a defensive cooldown, basically an oh shit button for your healers. Gives you another 3 seconds before you actually die for them to pick you up. Rating right now at the end of Warlords of Draenor, this is my spec. When I go leveling for pre-Legion, I possibly might go Bone Storm for sure, possibly Bloodworms. Probably will stick with Heartbreaker, but definitely will be going Bloodstorm for leveling. Alright, so now your stat priority. So 100% your stat priority is going to be Haste Mastery, with Strength being your number one. And just looking at, you know, the equipment that I have here, you want to enchant everything with haste. So neck needs to be haste, back needs to be haste, any gems need to be haste, your rings need to be haste also. What I'm leaning towards is the Rune of the Fallen Crusader for your enchant. DKs are going to be the only one to enchant weapons. Rune of the Fallen Crusader is going to be the more stronger decision here. Priority. So obviously I always like to open up with your Death and Decay to get them to start attacking you, and then as you can see to the left of the screen, you'll see the talents and moves that I'm actually selecting. But you want to open up and get your blood shield stacks up to around 6 to 7. If you have more than 7, then you don't want to attack. Then you need to, if you have multiple targets, what you're going to do is you're going to be heart striking. See, my health's getting low, so I'm going to heal myself up with the Death Strike coming back in. I got 2 blood boils to apply my diseases. I can put my Death and Decay back down. My bone shield charges are getting low. I'm going to start marrow rending and getting it back up. Now let's let my health get down lower, and what we're going to do is we're going to show you the defensive cooldowns. So first one we're going to open up with is your Dancing Rune weapon, and I'm also going to stack it with Vampiric Blood. So pop both of those two, and now I can heal myself up with just 3 Heart Strikes, 3 Death Strikes. Continue to Heart Strike and Heart Strike. Put your Death and Decay back down. Get your Bone Shields back up. Blood Boil to apply it to all of them. Now, coming here, if you know a big strike's about to happen, and you want to be able to smooth it out for your healers, you have your AMS, which is Anti-Magic Shield. Anti-Magic Shield's going to come in and boom, you got Anti-Magic Shield. So for right then and there, you're going to be doing a huge, nearly quarter million damage shield coming in there. And the reason why I love Blood Elves is for Arcane Turret. You can't go wrong with it. I used to be a Tauren, and I sacrificed a little bit of HP for the amazing move, which is Arcane Torrent and AoE silence. You can't get any better than that. Some of your three defensive major cooldowns is our Vampiric Blood, Dancing Rune Weapon, and Anti-Magic Shield. What you also have as a defense is your Wraith Walk. So if you're getting into something, you can Death and Decay, where their movement's going to be reduced by 50, and then you can get out of there. And then at ranged, you can throw Death's Caress onto them, which is a very, light hitting ability, but it also applies your diseases to the target. Some of these, so I have a lot of keybinds, but some of the better macros. This is just, if I'm out in World PvP and I kill somebody, this is my macro that drops all my flags and yells Logtar Ogar. This is one of the most crucial things. So with the pre-patch, they have taken out the max camera distance, and in Legion beta, they have actually created an add-on called max camera distance. Well, Blizzard got word of this, and they actually have stopped this. They wanted to zoom in the camera, so where they said, we want you to see the changes and, see more of it. They don't want you super zoomed out on the game. So Legion had you about right here, and that's as far as you could zoom out. And what they have released after canceling the add-on that was released is a console command. With this console command, I keep it down here, pull the command, and then you can zoom out more. It's going to be basically in between what they wanted it for Legion and what we had it in WoD. So that's a extremely beneficial add-on, especially to all the raiders out there. This is just a very generic pull timer, so I don't have to keep typing it every time it goes out there. This is probably your main mouse over macro. This is the one that every Deathknight needs and everything. So on your raid frames, I'll give you all a second to copy this down, but on your raid frames, see, I have it bound to this button right here. So over your raid frames, all you do is you're just going to mouse over. You don't have to select, you don't have to deselect the target. You're going to mouse over it and click them. You could even do it to their body or the raid frame. All this is when I pop my ring, I also pop a versatility potion, so I get double versatility on it all. I know y'all are probably looking at all of this and wondering, what key binds this. I'm 100%, addicted. I have to have a MMO mouse with multiple buttons. I have the Razer Naga. On this, I go 1 through 12. This next line is Shift 1 through 12. This next line is Alt 1 through 12. When I first was playing the game back in vanilla in BC, they didn't have these mouse or mice, and I didn't use them, so I got used to the left hand. After playing some college football and pro football, I had to step away from the game and come back to it. Well, now I have trained myself to use this MMO mouse, and I'm 100% dependent on the 1 through 12 in my right hand rather than all the keybinds in my left hand. Consumables. So you prepping for Legion, what we're going to need to get prepared on is a couple of essentials that you're going to need. If you go into this area called Stormheim, it is going to be full of mountains, and it's going to be hard to run around and get through to places. It's going to be a lot easier just to glide down. So I have enough goblin gliders. You're also going to need a food buff. Your main food buff for me, for DKs, which we all need to go get, is buttered sturgeon. It's going to stack 125 haste after you eat for 10 seconds. Your flask that you're going to need to go get is Greater Draenic Stamina Flask. Now, I know you're looking at all this and you're like, holy shit, he has a lot of them. Do you need this much? No. This is all just saved up from my guild and what I have from raiding. You definitely don't need anywhere near this amount for leveling. Healing tonics. This is the Draenic versatility, so this is what, it looks like I have a lot of them, but it pops every single time I pop my ring. So when I pop my ring, I pop a potion. These new tombs, which I need to go get some more of, but these tomes are the ones that you're going to use to, if you're not in a rested area, that's how you're going to change your talents. Now, enchants. Since you're going to be, swapping your gear out as you're leveling, you need to have enchants on hand. You need to have, I would say, at least somewhere around 10 of each for your ring, neck, and back. You need to have all of these on hand. And also I'm gonna go buy a couple of more stacks of these just to have runes on demand, because the more baseline stats you have, the better ability and the faster and more efficient you're going to be for leveling. Kind of just wraps it up, and just to go over a summary of what we've gone is gone over your cooldowns, gone over your defensive cooldowns, we've gone over what consumables, gems, basically haste mastery, everything. Strength obviously is your number one, but everything else is haste mastery. Just get ready and look forward to seeing you guys, and drop a follow, drop a subscribe. We will be coming out with more videos once Legion launches, and I also will start my stream. We will be streaming at twitch.tv/HighRiseTV. Come give us a follow, come give us a like, and can't wait to see you there, guys. Appreciate it.